Yo, I'm Nick, welcome to BioGear. Today we're doing a 3-week follow-up review on the Razer Blade 14 2021 model. This is the 3070 edition with the QHD 165Hz screen. Holy crap, it is phenomenal. This is just an absolutely outstanding computer for both being something like your ultra-portable everyday computer, as well as your gaming computer. I feel like Razer was really trying to blur the line between performance and portability on this computer, hence the new form factor, and honestly, they nailed it. Let's get into it and try and see if it's right for you as well. So first thing I want to touch on is all the hardware that you interact with as far as a usability standpoint. Keyboard, touchpad, speakers, and screen. Keyboard on this model, it's very shallow. It took me actually 2 out of the 3 weeks it took me to get used to it and actually start to like it, but I really did not like this keyboard for the first 2 weeks that I was typing on it. Yeah, it types fine, and it sounds good, but you really have to just get used to it. It's shallower than I like. The snap and the actuation force is just kind of weird to me, especially coming off of like an XPS 17, 13, and MacBooks. But overall, you will get used to it. You will start to enjoy it. And surprisingly, in gaming, like smashing on WSD keys, it does fine. I feel like the haptic feedback I'm getting by hitting the key and I'm focused on a game is very sufficient. So it's comfortable, you will get used to it, the layout's nice as well. There's a power button in the top right corner of this computer as well, and that power button does have a stiffer key than the rest of the keyboard. If you accidentally hit it, it won't do anything. If you hold it, it will shut down the screen or put the computer to sleep mode. So it just might take a little bit of adjusting for that delete key being moved over one space. Touchpad, again, I've touched on this in the initial review. It's phenomenal, glass surface, absolutely amazing texture. I think that XPS computers like my 17 and this 13 here have a better surface just because it's a little smoother. The Razer's got a slightly grainier surface than those computers, but overall we're talking like 9 out of 10 still. This touchpad is just absolutely phenomenal and it is a pleasure to use. You will not be disappointed. As far as clicks go, it only clicks on the bottom. Most Windows computers use what's more like a diving board whenever the clicks are built into the touchpad, and this one does have a really good click. Let's see if you can hear it. But towards the top of the computer, there is no click because that is where the hinge is. Apple's pretty much the only guys that spent the R&D and engineering time designing a touchpad that clicks everywhere on the touchpad. This is standard. This is kind of what everyone else has to do if they don't want to spend the money to build something really cool like that. So speakers on this computer as well are good. They're better than I gave them credit for in the beginning, but at the same time they're really not. You will get used to using these speakers on this computer, but there is definitely an adjustment period. I did end up eventually getting really used to the speakers on this computer and going from, wow, I don't like these, to, yeah, they're fine, but they still don't sound as good as like MacBooks and the XPS 17. You do get used to it though, especially if you're watching a show or a movie. Within the first 10-15 minutes you usually kind of go deaf to the fact that they're not that great, and then you kind of start to enjoy it. At that point I started noticing too that the THX surround sound spatial audio stuff actually is kind of impressive. I do hear stuff around me when I'm using the computer, and it's kind of a neat little gimmick, but at the end of the day the speakers are just fine. I'd say they're like 7.5 out of 10. They get the job done pretty well. They're just not fantastic. Compared to any other computer, especially down-firing garbage speakers, this thing beats out most of the rest of the competition though. I think the Razer Blade 15 did have better speakers than this sucker, but it's fine. We get used to it. So next off, I really want to touch back on the screen. It's bright, it's sharp, it's color accurate. I thought it was over 400 nits whenever I initially saw this screen. I had to throw my Spider X on it and test it, and the highest it scored was 362.7 nits, which is crazy because I have 3 laptops in my house that each boast 500 nits brightness, and this thing gets really, really close to them, at least by eye. So with that being said, I think in my personal case, anything over 350 nits is very comfortable for me. This thing does get 1 or 2 clicks higher than where I really care to use it, but I do occasionally max up the brightness, especially in a bright room, and I have no problem using this computer. Even when gaming in dark content, slap the high brightness up, I'm set. It's good. It's really good. There was no backlight bleed on my particular unit. That does vary per computer, but at least mine and most other reviewers that I've seen touch on this laptop have not had any backlight bleed, so hopefully that does say a lot about them getting that in check. My biggest and only real gripe on this computer is that it's not 16 by 10. I wish that this was like a 14.5-inch screen and that they fill in the bottom a little bit. that would be just incredible. Most other laptops nowadays are coming with 16 by 10 inch screens. It is starting to creep into the 15-inch laptop space as a 16-inch laptop screen. I think the same treatment to this computer would just really push it over the edge. Obviously, there's really nothing like that on the market yet, and 14-inch panels are still very fresh. So for the meantime, 165 Hz QHD, 10 millisecond response time screen, that's 362 nits. Oh boy, it's a treat. Especially if you treat this thing like your everyday carry laptop and not just a gaming laptop. I mean, wouldn't we love to have 13.4 inch, 16 by 10 inch laptops with even like 120 Hertz? It'd be incredible. Even when phones got 120 Hertz, it just made them so much more like smooth and comfortable of an experience. So I love high refresh rate. I wish it'd be on everything. And man, this computer is just A1 for that screen on it. So something I really want to touch on that's kind of a personal home point for me. I'm very comfortable on using like 17-inch computers. That's where I love using 17-inch laptops. I love big screens. And 15.6 inch is kind of that happy medium to where, yeah, I got to carry it with me somewhere or go out of town with it, and I still want it to be comfortable enough to game on. 14 inch is starting to creep into that, man, this is really kind of a small screen area for me when gaming. When you're just using the internet and browsing it, I do a lot of pinch to zoom to kind of see what I'm looking at on this screen. But it does get the job done. It's just a little more on the small side. Keep in mind, this is a 14.0 inch screen. Most other 13-inch laptops are about 13.3 or 13.4 inches. So we're only 0.6 inches higher than some of those, 0.6 or 0.7. And compared to like a 15.6 inch average screen size laptop, we're 1.6 inches further away from that. So this is definitely closer to a 13 inch than it is a 15, especially the new laptops that are coming with like 16 inch screens. So keep that in mind. It's not like it's only an inch in between each way. It's really not. However, that does enable this computer to fit in a whole lot of new places that it probably wouldn't have before. This is a Razer Rogue 13-inch backpack, and this laptop does fit in here. It's tight, so if you get a weird sample that may be a little tighter than normal, this laptop might not fit in it, but mine does fit in this bag comfortably so fine. And I could easily throw this thing in this bag with the power adapter and a controller and be on my merry way to go game at my friend's house. Otherwise, what I'm used to was using 17-inch gaming laptop bags, which you really have to go out of your way to carry something like this and load up a big beefy 6, 7, 8 to 10 pound laptop inside of it. And this ends up being kind of like a second bag for that, and it's kind of a hassle. So if you prioritize being able to just go and do whenever, wherever you want to go and do anything, this laptop's actually really good for just taking with you. It's super powerful for its compact nature. I think they did an excellent job with that vapor chamber cooling on this sucker. It does run pretty hot. You will see 90 degrees Celsius in this laptop and higher on a demanding game, but overall the thermals do stay in check. The clock speeds really do stay up there and cranked, and 100 watts on the GPU is pretty generous. So I think for the form factor that they went with and the power that they put in it, they did an excellent job. I really got to say, I'm impressed, especially for the thickness of this machine. So battery life on this computer is also decently strong, especially for the battery size that it has in here. I'm getting about 5-ish hours of use, between 5 and 6 for sure. That's me leaving the screen brightness usually jacked pretty high up, as well as leaving the keyboard backlighting on. The area that shocked me the most as far as power goes, though, is being able to charge this thing quickly, even through the USB-C port. It charges fast. I'm not used to charging a computer this fast. Usually it takes a whole lot longer to hit 100% on a charge, and this computer, even with a 65-watt charger, just tops right off. So using this thing as an Ultrabook with like a USB-C travel adapter it's the easiest I've ever seen in a gaming laptop, period. Can't game on a USB-C charger, but even so, like just using it like a normal daily computer at work or just at a friend's house and you're not gaming, yeah, I really think this thing is one of the best gaming laptops that you can use as a daily, especially for its ability to use that charger like that on the go. So final thoughts on this computer. It's a joy to use. It really is. I have no regrets buying this computer, and I would definitely repeat my decision. If I didn't actually have this thing right now, I would easily go back and get it again. It's just a really awesome little computer for using every day. The weight is a non-issue. The size is completely non-issue. The screen size could be a little bit better, but we'll go with that for now. Okay, so would I recommend this computer? Absolutely. I think this computer, especially the 3070 model at the $2,200-ish range, is a phenomenal sweet spot. I do highly recommend the QHD screen if you're looking into it, especially because the 144 Hz screen has a 20 millisecond response time, so there's a bit more ghosting there. I think it's worth saving and spending the little bit of extra money it takes to get the 3070 model in my case. The performance is great, it's a great balance. The price gap between this and the 3080 model could almost buy you an RTX 3080 itself for like your desktop, so I really don't find it useful in this situation. But for this package with this screen, this computer's just phenomenal. I mean, 2 thumbs up for real. The screen's great, and overall it's just so well polished and so well built. I cannot stress to you enough, the build quality on this computer is phenomenal. So if you want a well-built computer that's powerful and small, dude, just pick up the Razer Blade. If you're looking at buying this computer, I did purchase mine from Amazon. The link that I've used is in the description below for the 3070 model, so go check that out. Also, I will be in the near future uploading a video where I skin this device, as well as show you some of the accessories and stuff that I use to keep it safe and protected, so I can get as many years out of this thing as I can, where it's looking literally like brand new as much as possible. So if you're not subscribed, please do. I only have 400 subscribers right now, which is a whole lot more than the 80 I started with before this video went live. But my goal is to try and get to 1,000, so please subscribe, share the love. I really appreciate it. If you have any questions, as usual, drop them in the comment section below. I try and answer as many of them as I can. Hope you enjoy the video. Please subscribe, like I said, like the video. Have a good one. Take care. Thanks for tuning in.